Hey guys, what's up? It's Carmela Maniac. If you're new to my channel, sit down, chill, and hang out with me for a bit, because today I'm going to be breaking down and reviewing Ordinary, which is a song from Alex Warren. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird, I've been a little bit sick, so just bear with me here. Now this song, Ordinary by Alex Warren, is by no means a new song. It came out in February of this year. However, it still remains at the top of the charts today. This song is off of Alex Warren's album called You'll Be Alright Kid, and specifically disc 1 of this album, because there are 2 discs in this album, making it a very large album, which is almost like 2 albums. Now the first thing that caught my ear, and probably caught everyone else's ear, is the cool and chill small guitar that plays in the beginning here. And it plays a relatively simple guitar part, but still it has such an unusual sound that it makes it interesting and hooks you right off the bat. Now, this guitar may remind people of a ukulele, but for me, it reminds me of a Latin guitar, like the one heard in this song here. And this specific Latin instrument that I'm thinking of could probably be any of the options I'm about to list. But the instrument I'm probably thinking of is most likely a charango. It could also be a cavaquinho, or just a regular old mandolin. In reality though, the actual instrument that Alex Warren uses here in the beginning is a rubber bridged guitar, which is like a regular guitar but modified with a rubber saddle right here, which gives it that signature muted sound. Regardless of what instrument it is, I really love the sound, so I really like the beginning of the song. And like I said, because it's an unusual sound, it gives the song and intro a lot of character right off the bat. However, because it sounds like those Latin instruments I was talking about, I thought the song was going to have a totally different vibe and sound a lot different than what it did sound like. Kind of got my hopes up and then destroyed all of that hope. Now, I should have known the song was going to have a specific vibe from the very subtle organ that plays and drones underneath the beginning intro. Now, it might be a little bit hard to hear, but if you crank your volume up, you can definitely hear it droning on underneath the cool guitar part in the beginning. Now, this very quiet organ sound should have given me the perfect clue as to what this song was going to sound like. So it's kind of like a theme announcer, which is honestly pretty cool. It's like, it's there and it kind of transitions us into the vibe of the song without actually changing the beginning of the song too much, and still allowing the beginning of the song to have its own character. Now later on, the organ I mentioned, which is playing quietly in the beginning, has a much bigger part. However, it's not as big as you think. It's really just kind of a background instrument throughout the whole song. However, the organ, along with the huge choir moments in the song, definitely give me the vibe of a church song. So those two things, the choir and the organ, along with how much reverb is on everything, especially the choir, gives that cathedral church feeling. Kind of slow and respectful kind of walking beat that it has is also very churchy to me, which is fine. However, I will say it was a little bit weird for me listening to the song, because that guitar would continue throughout the song, taking breaks here and there. But every time I heard it, I just kept thinking like Latin music. And so it was a very big contrast against the kind of American churchy feeling it had. So it was just a little bit weird for me hearing that guitar pop in and out throughout the song. I think honestly the guitar might be my favorite part of the song. And it only has this like tiny little part, so that tells you a little bit about the song. Now, on top of these huge choir moments is Alex Warren's vocals. Now, I think Alex Warren's vocals are very nice when he sings louder notes and when he's belting, because it sounds thick and rich, and it has kind of like a rough quality, which is very enticing when he's singing louder notes. But it's too bad that it's mostly covered up by this huge choir that's singing behind him. However, he does have some parts here and there where it's just him belting, and I really appreciate those parts because it really sounds like he's putting a lot of emotion, because when you sing like that, it's kind of hard not to put emotion into your voice when you're singing these loud belty notes. So that's why it's the stereotypical thing of having more passion in your voice when you're louder and belting.
Breathe in, take my breath away.
Now, like I said, it's very easy to put emotion and passion into your voice when you're singing these loud notes. The same cannot be said about putting emotion into these quieter, tender parts of the song, like in the beginning of the song where Alex Warren is singing. He's singing these very quiet, tender notes, and it has nowhere near the amount of passion that the louder notes have. Like, sure, the melodies are nice that he's singing in the beginning, but it's like nothing special is happening with his voice. Like, he's not really getting into it at all, it feels like. And recently, I've been listening to a lot of Joji, and he is absolutely masterful, in my opinion, about putting a lot of emotion into his quieter parts of his songs. Granted, he does have a lot of quieter songs. However, when he's singing those quieter notes, he's singing with a lot of passion, and you can just tell. It just rolls off of him. It emanates off of him.
Then if she's so perfect, do I still wish that it was you?
And that style of putting in a lot of emotion and maybe incorporating a little head voice here and there would make sense in the beginning of this song, Ordinary, except Alex Warren never really is able to tap into the passion or emotion for the beginning of his song. Like, it's supposed to be tender there, but it's really not giving that. It really just sounds like he's just singing it to sing it. Like, I wish he had put more creativity, passion, emotion, anything into the beginning of the song there. And any quiet part of the song where he's singing.
They say the holy water's watered down, and this town's lost its faith.
Now, one thing I noticed, which is kind of common with these songs, is that it did not sound very extraordinary or interesting off of like a 3-second preview of the song or off of phone speakers. So let's just say you're browsing music and you decide to play the song and you skip ahead to the chorus and you play it for like 5 seconds. It really doesn't hit you and go, wow, I need to listen to that whole thing. It's just kind of like, okay. And then you like go to the next song. But again, if you listen to the song with headphones or in a car, the song expands and becomes a more fleshed out version of itself, which is common sense. But I mean, it's easier to appreciate a song when you're listening to it with headphones or in a car speaker with the volume pretty high. But I'm like, there are songs out there where if you just play like a little bit of it, you're like, ooh, yeah, that's a great song. I need that song. Give me that song, you know? And this just wasn't one of those songs. Okay, and if you listen to the song maybe off of your phone speakers or at a lower volume, I think the main things that would catch your attention are the massive choruses and all of the vocal parts he has behind him in those choruses. And like, that is the main thing that is happening in this song if you listen to it off of phone speakers or at a lower volume. So it's like the main thing that this song has going on. Like, not much else, I'm sorry to say, besides maybe the guitar that I was talking about or the belted vocal parts by Alex Warren, which are kind of scarce. Just because you're loud and massive does not make you passionate or interesting or better in any way, shape, or form. But like I said earlier, it does have that kind of like churchy vibe to it. And for that reason and that reason alone, basically the choir and the organ, this song reminds me a little bit of Hozier. Only because of the choir and the organ and the kind of reverby, big, kind of slow song. And Hozier is an artist I've reviewed before, so you should check it out here. But like, this song feels more like a cheap copy of Hozier. So I guess I can say I'm not really a fan of it. But that's okay, because other people are, and that's just how the world works. However, Hozier adds so much more dynamism and emotion into his music, even in quieter parts where he's singing more tender, emotional, and quieter parts. An area where I've explained Alex Warren is a little bit lacking in. I don't know, like I said, it's not the most amazing song you've ever heard, but it still sounds good because it was produced with a lot of money, and a lot of money is apparently what makes you popular these days. And it's just a little bit annoying how popular it is to me because, like I said, it's just kind of blah. Like, besides the massive sound and that cool guitar in the beginning and some cool vocals here and there. But like, the melodies aren't that interesting, the instrumentation isn't interesting besides the guitar, the arrangement isn't all that interesting because it's just kind of like quiet, and then there's just massive amounts of instruments playing for the choruses. There's no creativity. It just kind of goes from loud to quiet, quiet to loud. It's like, okay, just throw everything in there for the choruses. It'll be great. But it doesn't make it interesting. It just makes it kind of loud and kind of like fake emotional, superficial emotional. It's like performative emotion, performative mailman emotion song. He's trying too hard. But like I said, it was produced well, so it sounds good. So people are gonna like it no matter what. People really do just like easy pop music to listen to. And it is so digestible, in like a bad way, to where it can just play on repeat on the radio and be popular. So I'm gonna give this song a 6.5 out of 10 on the millimeter. Because honestly, I wish this song had much more thought put into it, more passion, and more interesting elements. But I will say, if he is new to the music industry, this is the way to do it. So either way, Alex Warren is winning here, so I don't know what to say. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, or even if you didn't, please consider subscribing to the channel. Tell me what you guys thought of Ordinary by Alex Warren in the comments below. Keep listening, and I'll talk to you guys later. And I'm so sorry about my voice. I can like hear it resounding in my head.